Yeah, so now here's where we got to start paying a little bit more attention. So we are towards the end of the ladder. Now, like I said, there were some technical problems on Smash GG's end, so Olive is sitting at the top, and basically they're the champion, and they're waiting for challengers. If Olive can beat the challengers that are sent at them, they're going to win the whole thing, and there is nothing anybody can do about it, because they're the only team that's undefeated so far, and they're the only team that's undefeated so far, and they have a lot of wins. And if they get another win, they are basically going to be so far ahead of everyone that no one will be able to catch up. So Olive, like while we were watching these other games, Olive was just fucking everybody up. And now, unfortunately, this set started while I was spectating the last set that we just saw, right? So I got in game 2, and this is Kiver's +1 pickup. Like the team name is like insert pickup name here, but it's a +1 pickup. Okay, so it's Team Olive versus a +1 pickup. Towards the end of the ladder, this basically means everything, right? So game 1 has already finished, and actually the +1 pickup won. Okay, so we're starting out with game 2. So we're going to watch the rest of the set. I don't know what happened in the first set. I just know that the +1 pickup won. So it's Kiver, Gray, Zero, and I didn't catch the last name because I'm not that fast to read. Someone tell me who the slasher is. Might be like Henry. That's right, it's Henry. I know these things. All right, I'm just tired, man. I had a long weekend. I did a lot of work. All right, so right now we have Sendal getting 1 pick, getting assist to get a 2nd pick. Oh, I thought that was going to be a direct. Okay, so Sendal gets his pick here, but he is going to be taken out by the counter ray, and there's just been a lot of back and forth. Urza able to put in a clam right now, and also take out Kiver. So nice early lead, as long as Brian doesn't also fall to Gray right now. This will be a pretty good pick. So, okay, Urza does the right thing. So Brian stays alive. No, wait, is Brian going to stay alive? All right, never mind. Well, I was going to say everybody being able to stay alive and regroup while Urza goes in, gets a pick, and then gets another pick and takes someone down with them would be really good for map control, but that's not what happens. Then everyone's kind of flooding in one at a time here. We see Soren kind of showing up by himself. Sendal's in tow, but you know it's a 2v4, and Sendal does get the kill. Okay, so a little bit of a dicey start from Olive, but plays like this out of the camo tent are a big deal, right? Sendal gets the shield up, takes it the safe way, and he's going to force whoever that was to jump out. So now we have map control for Olive, and they have a little bit of a lead. So it's not really the end of the game hasn't really been influenced that much here, but Olive is they're playing better than they were at the very, very beginning. Ooh, Urza gets taken out right now by a combination of splash damage and paint tools and all kinds of stuff. And now we have the first opportunity out of this +1 pickup to get in a push. I like how the baller goes in, gets pushed back, and then the guy just throws in the power climb anyway. And we have a lead, so kind of a small lead. Only Kiver really is able to do anything to extend this lead, and he gets taken out. Zero doing the right thing, backing out. He's going to preserve those clams. He's going to start paint mid, and he's going to get a power clam. So really nice ending to a push. I think a lot of what gets underestimated a lot about in Clam Blitz is how you end a push, right? If you can go for a push and get a ton of clams in, but your team wipes, you just set up the enemy for a counter push. If you can do so while keeping people alive and maintaining map control, you're going to be in better shape. As I say all that, though, Olive is able to gain the lead off of those clams. So this is looking pretty good for them, but now Gray is just in the enemy base. He's going to be able to start a push, maybe? He does. Oh, and a jump in, so that's going to be an instant just counter lead right there. Okay, so a lot of back and forth, a lot of clam blitz happening right now. But yeah, honestly, I don't even think that was like misplaced for how the pushes ended. I just think that those are really strong follow-ups from the opposing teams, because neither of those pushes. Well, I mean, I guess the +1 pickups comp did kind of, or team did kind of like counter push really hard. But oh no, here comes 2 power clams. This could be it. Urza gets taken out, and that's the game right there. That's the game right there. Wow. So as I was talking about how these teams are doing a good job of holding map control after their pushes and making sure that the counter pushes don't come and happen, 3 of those in a row happened, and the +1 pickup won. So I'm going to pause it for a second because I need to really explain what the situation is. So at this point, now there are 2 people in Hall of Fame. right? There's Olive, and there's Kiver's Pickup. Now, there are supposed to be more. Again, Smashy G didn't install my settings, so this is, But the way the rules for first place work is in Hall of Fame, whoever has the best win-to-loss record in Hall of Fame, that is the team that that will win. And in the case of needing a tiebreaker, let's say that like two teams are equally positive, so two teams are +7 or +9 or whatever. If they fought each other early in the ladder, that counts as a tiebreaker match. If they hadn't fought each other earlier, we play a tiebreaker match after the ladder's finished. Now, because Smashy G didn't install my settings correctly, a lot of the top teams had like absurdly long wait times, like 15 minutes, which I was not happy with. So I made an announcement saying that, like, depending on how things go, since a lot of top teams didn't have as many opportunities to play games, hey Dragon Noodle, that I may just force a top cut afterwards, because you're supposed to be getting in like 11 games, and some of these guys only got in like 8 games. I will explain the follow up to that after that. But right now, Olive and Kiver's Pickup, either Olive is still 1 ahead in win-loss ratio than Kiver's Pickup, or they're equal. So this is Olive's first loss, and I believe, and the Kiver's Pickup is undefeated, but they basically the next game is going to basically determine everything, because if Kiver's Pickup gets to play one more game, and if they win, it doesn't really matter what Olive does, they're going to tie them and then win the tiebreaker because they just beat Olive. Yeah, and then Olive wins another game. So Olive ends up 8-1. We are going to move on to see what Kiver's Pickup does. I think that I started recording after. I don't think I missed the first game. I don't think so. I can actually check the map list, but I'll try to do so without interrupting gameplay. So we have Astral versus Kiver's Pickup. So like we talked about, Astral is doing really, really well as of late and in this tournament. And if Kiver's Pickup beats this team, they will have the win-loss ratio that they need to tie Olive, and they will have the win against Olive because they beat Olive, so they get the tiebreaker. They'll be undefeated, and yeah. So right now we have Alex going for that Stingray, going to force a jump out. There is a hammer in the mid, and a shield painting zone. It looks like the hammer actually gets taken out, and Astral is able to get in position. Nice shot right there on Henry from Alex. And will the Stingray get it picked up? It gets 2 picks. So that is going to be lead still for Astral, but not control afterwards. So this is going to be the +1 pickup, able to really get into position and start and start getting map control. And they actually don't get the zone until now. They fortunately, however, do get some picks. So this is going to be points on the board for them. May or may not be lead. I don't know how long they're going to be able to keep this hold, but it looks like Astral's kind of able to get a pick and start moving back into mid. Stingray goes off. That's going to take out the Tenebrella right there. Alex's head, absolutely supreme Stingray so far in this tournament. And, that one might not have been as flashy as the ones that we saw last game, but it's still going to be really clutch to take out the Tenebrella in this kind of situation. Nice shot on Kiver. Nice double. All right. He's good with the charger, too. Well, what can I say? All right, so there's a hammer nearby. He doesn't really know where it is. He tries to back up. Gray gets 1 pick. Will Gray get a second pick? He's in the crossfire right now. He tries to stay alive. Oh, he tries to go for a cheeky turnaround. Doesn't get the pick. Kiver's going to be forced to back up right now. Now, he does have the Inkjet. How will this work out for him? There's a charger somewhere. He's going to take out that tent shield. He's going to make sure that no one can go. Oh, actually, someone is. Does he have drop roller? No, he doesn't. Dennis is going to be able to take that out right away and punish that. And now, now Astral has full control. They had full control, but they have control. They get the penalty. So this is going to have to be a second entire game-winning hold for the +1 pickup if they're going to take this game. Right now, it's a 3v3. Zero has Ray, which is the one thing they have going for them. But I am sure that as long as Alex stays alive, which he tends to do so, there's going to be a Ray coming out of Astral soon, too. So we have 10 missiles going off, and we have Inkjet going off. How is this going to work out? Kiver. Okay, so Kivir gets taken out there. I didn't think that was going to happen. I was like, oh, you know, maybe Kivir will take some splash damage from the missiles, you know. That's why they're good on some maps like Walleye. They were good on some maps like Walleye back in, like, 2017 because... I'm sorry, 2018, because, you know, you can kind of, like, get chip damage on the Inkjet. Now he's easy to take out, but he just gets domed right in the freaking skull. So, this is going to be a penalty out of Astral, and... yeah, so once again, the +1 pickup is going to have to work towards getting a full hold, but the time is starting to work in their favor. They get a pick, but now it's back to a 3v3. What is going to happen right now? So we see Gray trying to push up. He gets repelled by Zero right now, but missiles, Stingray, and all kinds of stuff goes out. Zero is going to make it out with that Ray, but are they going to be able to get map control with it? So he gets some picks, some hit markers on someone to the right. His teammates seem to be following up on that. Seems to be communication going on right now, but no pick happens, and Astral is able to continue the hold. Not that big of a penalty for either team right now, so this could sort of go in either way. There's been no real long hold since the beginning of the game for either team, honestly, at this point. So whichever team, you know, if a team gets a bunch of picks right now, that could be the game. And as I say that, it happens. Almost combination fire from the hammer and the burst bombs out of Kivir. But we are approaching the end of the game. Not that much time left. Kivir going to do a good job at just painting over the zone. He knows that Astral has a lot of tools to try to stop the timer, which they do. Only a few seconds left. What's going to happen? We see the tent ready. Inkjet goes off. Hammer goes off. No one even really to take paint zone, but they get the lead anyway. A lot of specials coming out of Astral right now, but maybe it's a little too late. Henry gets a trade in the face of certain death right now, which is pretty big for his team's ability to kind of hold zone at the end here. Will Astral be able to get control of the zone? They're really close to being able to... no, and they don't. They needed to get the penalty right there. And they didn't. So, really clutch win out of Kivir's pickup right now. And now they are 1-0 in this match. So, basically, again, if they win this match, they win the whole speed ladder. If they don't, I don't know exactly what happens at that point. I think a tiebreaker match needs to be played. Or, Olive might straight up win. I forget exactly what the standings were. Dude, we fought Astral in the GSM qualifier, round 1. So we're a little bit tired, but despite any excuses we could have from not, not being warmed up and being tired, they were. It felt like we were playing the best team in the game almost. Like that feeling when you. I mean, well, I still have like a feeling that I get like if I go all the way back to like Splat 1 where you're playing like NSTC or like Chimera or like whatever, like whoever the team is, you have this feeling where it's just like these enemies are they're just iron solid. Like the sniper is just getting picks, the Tenatech is just all over the place and never missing, and it's like, oh my gosh, what do we do about this? And that's how it felt to fight those guys. I mean, like I said, I think that they have been an up and coming team for a little bit. In the public, they've been a top team for a bit now, but the public just doesn't recognize them that much, and I think that they're really good, and I think that they really deserve to be viewed on par with some of the better teams in our scene. But we're going to game 2. We're going to Clan Blitz. So these are 2 out of 3 matches. So if this +1 pickup wins, that is going to be the tournament, and if Astral wins, we go into tie resolution for number 1, potentially some tiebreaker matches, so we'll see how it goes. So we see Gray right now getting a nice revenge pick right there. If he can be given a clan, he can put in a power clan, but no one's really there to give him that. He gets taken out by some wary individuals on the enemy team. And now Astral is able to kind of do something about this hold. So, ooh, nice pick from the hammer. Will he get this yeet? Not quite, but he is staying alive. He's going to back up here. Yep, good play from him. Thomas is trying to move forward, but I suspect as soon as some of these other teammates are able to take mid, Dennis will be able to move up. But it looks like actually those teammates are getting taken out. Dennis now getting a little bit isolated. No, Zekken's going to do what Zekken does. He's going to show up and rip someone's face off because he's an opportunity to do so. Gray kind of weak right now. Will he get taken out by the Explasher? He will. That shield might end up doing something. No, it looks like Alexei is going to be able to basically hold the situation. Stingray goes off. Now he has the baller. Yeah, this is like similar to what we saw out of Dynamon from the Splat World Championships, right? It's just you're this custom explasher that you always have baller, and you just pop it whenever Stingray goes off, so that the enemy backline can't take you out. Let's see, Gray, however, able to finally do what he was trying to do for the first, minute or so of the game, which was to just get into this right side position, get the power clam in, and start doing stuff with the hammer. Now, unfortunately, Zero and other teammates were taken out during this follow-up push, so there's going to be no more clams in. There's going to be a little bit of a small push, and Astral might have 2 power clams and some change to make a follow-up push. Let's see what ends up happening here. Zekin does have the missiles. How will he use them? So he missiles 2 people over here to the right. We see some people on the left side of our screen with their power clans. Are they able to move up? Well, they're not able to move up, but they are able to get a pick, so this is more and more pressure. More and more things working towards them being able to get this these clams in. We see 1 clam go in. We see Alexei pop his baller, and yeah, that is going to be lead for Astral, but they're not going to be able to get in that second power clam. They're not going to be able to get it down to 40, so what could have been a potentially game-winning push. Potentially, maybe not, it's still a little bit early. This is a map where it's easy to score, but 40 instead of 60 is a big deal. It's a big deal, and that means that if this follow-up push happens out of this pickup, which seems to be definitely the case, this is going to be immediate lead for them. Oh, not immediate lead, I'm sorry. Wait, is no one going to get in clamps? I don't remember what happens in this game. I had to do administrative stuff, so I actually don't remember. I don't remember exactly how this goes, as the autocam is going to have to guide us through the darkness, so we got to see what happens. All right, so no, okay, so that was not lead. 2 minutes left. What exactly is going to be happening here? So Henry with the nice shark is going to take out Dennis. Going to get revenge killed by the by Alexei, actually. Alexei's so good. That's the reason why his +1 ratio is always so high. Alright, and we see Zero just kind of holding the middle of the map. Here comes the Ray. What's going to happen from this Ray? So, people forced to move back. Missiles, however, are immediately available to do something about this Ray. It seems like nothing really comes of it. Oh, no, that being said, we only had 1 pick on the side of Astral, 2 picks for the +1 pickup. Will they be able to get the lead off this? They do. That's lead with only about a minute left to go. This push is starting to look pretty huge, and man, does this feel bad if they win off this push, because that 40-point lead that could have happened didn't. Out of Astral, we'll see what happens. They basically have 1 minute left to go, and there are 4 members alive on the side of that +1 pickup. So, again, how do you end your push? How does the map control look? How many people do you have alive? These things are important. Ooh, Zekin gets taken out. Alex forced to pop his baller. At least he's staying alive right now. Dennis also kind of existing here in the middle of the map, but now we have less than a minute left. How is Astral going to be able to do this? This is a quote-unquote easy map to push on, but both teams really have been able to push that often. Oh, nice pick on Kiver right there. This is what they were looking for. No one seems to quite have special yet. Alex makes the jump. Oh, a lot of jump-ins. Whoa, what happened? What happened? Okay, there we go. So there's the 40 points that they could have had earlier, and even more so. Down into the 30s, Thomas trying as hard as he can to use his bubbles to get 2 more clams in. Can he jump out afterwards? He's not really able to get back into his bubble and jump out, but that's okay. That's okay. As long as other members say, no, I don't know. I don't think Zekin should be there. I think Zekin should try to jump out. Maybe he couldn't. Maybe the decision-making leading up to that moment really didn't allow him to construct a situation where he was safe, but here comes the counter push. We always say that all the jump-in pushes and getting taken out sets up a push for the enemy. What is going to happen here? Gray is in. Oh, not in position to throw in the clam. That baller pushes through the shield right there. Zero gets taken out. I don't think that they can bring this back. I think this is going to end. Yeah. Wow. So this is a 1-1, and the entire tournament is coming down to this next game right now. I actually didn't know how that game went. So yeah, again, if Kiver's team wins, they win the entire thing. They meet the tiebreaker requirements and they move on. If that is not the case, then we are in a situation where I think Olive might actually win. I think Olive just straight up wins. So it really comes down to if this +1 pickup cannot choke and keep their record positive, because if they win, then they win the whole thing, undefeated. And if they lose, I believe Olive wins, but I'll have to I have to think about that. I don't have all the numbers right here in front of me, so there's a lot of win-loss ratios and stuff being updated at this point, so I really don't remember exactly what the situation was at this point. Astral, Loki, and Orcs, yeah. Again, the Smash GG did not incorporate my settings. I had placement matches set up. I had all these things in place to make sure that like all the low-level teams got good matchmaking, and that the high-level teams got good matchmaking and didn't like fight too many mid-level teams this time. And like there was so much in place to make sure that the tournament ran as smooth as possible. And I was just so frustrated that Smash GG didn't incorporate my settings, man. Like, rough. But we still got some really good high-level games out of it anyway, so we still get our blessings. And this was the largest tournament since the Ink TV Open back in, like, what, December? So this is what, the December, you know, January, February, March, April, May, June. This is the biggest tournament in 6 months. Okay, so I'm disappointed that it didn't go perfectly, but I mean, I gotta be happy about that. Everybody seemed to love it. I'm just I'm sad that the high level teams got long surge times, but I'm more sad that a bunch of low level teams, especially a lot of low level teams, this is their first tournament experience and they kind of got trashed because they didn't have skill matching, and that's the part that I'm actually upset about. I'll talk a little bit more about it after this match, but we are going into tower control on Kelp. The entire tournament is being decided by TC Kelp. Maybe not the best situation for my my TOing skills, but you know, this is the Cyberbullies Classic, so maybe this being my tournament, it's a little bit poetic that you know, the most successful tournament I've ever run is coming down to the Cyberbully special. So, or actually the Squid Squad special, because Spades was good at this too. So let's see what happens. So off the bat, we see some picks one way, we see some picks the other way. Nothing really too crazy showing up. Zero here trying to get his Ray and be an influence on the middle of the map at the same time. Good play from him. And it looks like it's a 2v2 situation. I hope that he doesn't get taken out here. As his teammate gets taken out, we'll be able to get the pick. Doesn't seem it. Can you get away, Zero? Can you get away from this hammer? Yes, you can. So Zero actually does survive. A little bit risky, but he is able to survive with the Ray. And he's able to start trying to go. That Ray was a little bit early, I think. I think he jumped the gun a little bit. You're fighting someone like Alexei. You're going to be punished if your Rays aren't perfect. And he's. What was that? Was that like a T-pose? Was that lag? I don't know what that was. That was funny. But oh, seeding does not matter in this format, by the way. It is impossible for seeding to be taken into account for matchmaking. I just want to point that out. I'll talk a little bit more about the ladder after this game, but I really want to make sure that, because I wasn't able to really watch what happened here, and I want to make sure that we commentate the grand finals appropriately. Because I think it would have been a three-way tie. I think we're in a situation where there's a three-way tie, and then we have a top four with the second place team determined by Swiss seedings. So yeah, all kinds of fun stuff would happen if this game goes a certain way or if it doesn't. And all right, so we had a nice situation. So we have, oh, never mind, we don't have a nice situation. So the Stingray survived, missiles and Ray went off, and that was all kinds of good for Astral's ability to defend this push. But out of all of that, they weren't able to get the picks, and the +1 pickup was able to get picks in return. So what went from a really solid defense and a really good use of Ray turned into still being on their heels. So Zekin right here trying to get a pick. Does he? He does. He gets revenge killed immediately. There's still people on tower. There are only 18 points to go. Kelp tower control is crazy. We have only Alex in position to try to defend this, and I think this is going to be game. A bomb goes off, but that is going to be it. And that is going to be the +1 pickup securing their tiebreaker against the only other team with their win and loss record. And that is going to be the end of the tournament. The grand finals, if you will. Actually, the last set and this set together are the grand finals, but this one was closer than the olive set. So, awesome job by our teams. So let's talk a little bit about the tournament, right? So, Your team were seeding like the 30s, ended up facing Lightman low key. It was awesome. Keep it up. It was hard against those teams. Yeah. So the way that the tools that Smash GG has provided me, there is no seeding. I should probably try to seed the tournament to like show players that like I have them in mind, but seeding doesn't do anything except for give if two teams are like, hey, I want host, the team with the higher seed can say like we have host, but it's impossible for me to make seeding matter in the matchmaking. So what was supposed to happen is I separated the ladder into a normal track and a placement track, right? So what do I mean by that? So basically your first loss wouldn't count against you. And then after that, that would be, so you're being undefeated, you're in a placement track. Having one loss, you're still in that placement track. You stay in that placement track until you lose that second time, at which point you get knocked down. And you get knocked down pretty far. So good teams going undefeated or happening to fight each other once, and one of them has to win, one of them has to lose, those teams get accelerated to the Hall of Fame pretty quickly. Any teams that lose twice in that process, they get kind of kicked down, and then winning and losing is a slower process. So in the old ladders, there was like the hey, if you lose once we forgive you thing going on, but there wasn't that continued placement track. So what would happen is you might lose once, you might lose twice, but then any wins that you have still accelerate you really far up the ladder. So like you would lose to some good teams, and then you would win one more game, and then you get immediately slammed by good teams because players were climbing too high up the ladder from wins. The improved system basically slowed everything down and also made it harder. Once you have that second loss, it's harder. You get punished more for losing the higher you get up the ladder, which kind of keeps it adds more space in between teams that are almost Hall of Fame material and intermediate level material, and then the teams that are doing poorly get pushed down really far. And it basically creates a situation where I have a floor and a ceiling for how high and how low your rank can go. And I separate everyone into kind of groups of skill, to 4 groups of skill among those. So basically, instead of it being like a kind of linear like ladder where on the rungs of the ladder you're still matching with people that are kind of close to you on rungs on the ladder, and every time you move up you get the possibility to fight a really good team, I kind of separate out everything, and it would basically separate the entire ladder into 4 divisions of skill where those divisions don't really fight each other that much, and it's a little, after you're done your placements, it's a little bit slow to move up or move down, and when if you actually do get knocked up or knocked down, you'll be put with players that are kind of appropriate for your skill level, and you'll be separated from players outside of that skill level. And I think that with all that we've learned from the ladder so far, that was a good way to do it. And I was really looking forward to it being implemented, but I don't know, it was out of my control. Smash GG messed up the implementation. We didn't get to see it, so that caused some bad skill matching for lower level teams. And it also caused really long wait times so basically my ladder had a ceiling up here and a floor down here. And you started out at like the 1/3 point, and move up very fast until you lose twice, at which point you kind of stay there and then slowly move up or move down, and players that lose go down. It takes a couple losses. I think you have to go like 0-4 to hit the floor. Right, so and then teams that players that win a little bit at the start go up to this intermediate rank. So you have a big separation. You have the floor and the ceiling, and you kind of have players spread out evenly, kind of like in a bell curve the whole way. You have the undefeated teams right at the top, only fighting good teams. You have the teams that keep losing right at the bottom, and only fighting other teams that are doing that poorly. And I think that would have been really nice. The Smash GG system starts everybody out like basically right at the bottom, so losing doesn't have you match against other teams that are losing. And that was the problem. So you had all these undefeated teams, all these teams with no wins, still fighting teams that are doing decent. That's not supposed to happen. And then at the top, the bell curve like ended, but then there was still a ceiling above that. So teams like Olive and some of the higher level teams that got high placements had no other teams to fight. So yeah, that's I was really disappointed in it. Again, I didn't like having high level teams have a bit of an unenjoyable experience. Having like 15-minute wait times at some points. I'm very unhappy with that. But I'm more upset that a lot of low-level teams, especially some low-level teams that it was their first experience with competitive Splatoon, didn't have a good time or just didn't get the experience that they deserve, because the primary goal of this entire ladder is to be a more welcoming environment for teams that don't necessarily play competitively that much and want to give it a try. And again, it's out of my control, but the fact that I kind of failed those guys, I was pretty mad. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to say. I am going to be very thorough with the follow-up with Smash GG. So Smash GG is not supposed to be letting me make these custom settings. They've been going above and beyond to do this for me, so I can't really be mad at them because they're not supposed to be doing this for me anyway. So the fact that they did so anyway is a favor from them. But I am going to make sure that the ladder settings get properly implemented this time, and that we don't have this problem again. I'm going to submit them early. I'm going to explain the situation, and I am going to do my best to make sure that everything goes smoothly for future speed ladders, because I want everything to be okay hand. So, yep, that was the ladder matches I had recorded. I hope you guys liked it. They're going to be getting thrown up on YouTube, but let's play a little bit of